Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Oh, that's it. Passat. Is it? Volkswagen Passat. Okay, fuck Assad Aziz, man. Fuck Assad Aziz and fuck Uche for bringing it up. Fuck Uche for remembering such a hurtful and tragic moment in my life. And fuck Assad Aziz for starting all that shit, okay?
There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out.
Great editing. Great editing.
I'm too tough for him.
We don't have to talk, man. I'm going to sit here with you for a minute.
I say, stay in there.
Oh, fuck.
So I just want, like, how do you do it? Because, you know, like, because you talk about it. How do I fucking do it? Are you fucking serious? I'm drinking at 10 in the morning.
There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out. But
Jesus
I pour
Christ.
whiskey on him.
I can't talk.
I can't talk.
But he is
Iconic clip. Iconic clip. And if I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, the timeline of events is even worse. Because if I'm not mistaken, the news of Chris D'Elia being exposed as a potential PDF happened either on the day or the day before. They didn't even call Chris beforehand. They didn't even try to pause the podcast and take a day off to gather their thoughts because their best friend had been cancelled or exposed as potentially being a PDF. They jumped straight in front of the cameras. These guys are the most opportunistic, clout-hungry, horrible, fucking fair-weather, opportunistic friends you ever have. They didn't even do Chris the favor of, like, you know, taking a day off, letting the news subside a bit, letting the news cycle roll through. No. As soon as the news dropped, they got in front of the cameras. Let's address this. Motherfuckers. I can't talk.
singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our secret pact. And it's...
I can't lie, right? I don't think I've cried as much as Bert has cried on podcasts in real life, even in private. I don't think I've cried in private as much as Bert has cried in front of a camera. So can you imagine how much he must cry in private? Like, I don't know, it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
nice enough to make a man weep. But I don't weep. Do you?
Is this the clip?
There's something strange happening in the world.
By the way, say what you want about Chris Stefano. Say what you want about Chris Stefano, but similar to Mark Normand, he's always going for the joke. You have to give that guy credit for always going for the bit. In that moment where that was expertly done, right? Is this the clip? That was so well done. We got Chris Stefano always going for the joke.
World of modern comedy. A generation of podcasters, men, warriors, self-proclaimed assassins,
Like an assassin, like a killer.
some even with violence in their very own DNA, have turned the camera inward.
There's most likely a lot of violence in my history, in my past, in my ancestry.
He said that with a straight face, man. Honestly, Rogan is fucking insane. This is what happens when you just rich, innit? I think this is the definition of fuck you money. When you have fuck you money, you can just talk. Like, I know I talk, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you guys in the stream chat will call me out, yeah? When I say some dumb shit, you always remind me that, hey, horrible take, you call me names and shit, right? You'll bring me back down to earth. But I think when you got money, you have the ability to talk. And people just sit there and like, wow, so profound. Even when you're talking out your fucking ass, even when you're talking absolute caca, absolute doo-doo, because you've got money and you're famous, people will look at you and be like, oh, wow. The leaves on the tree are green. You're right. You know, it must be so fun. That's where we should all try and aim to get to a place in life where you can be talking shit, but because you're so clouted up, because you've got so much money, because you're so hot, because your job is so important, people have no choice but to suck your dick. That must feel so good.
These legionnaires for free speech who once swelled with pride for their fearless, outrageous, and brutal honesty, who would shout their prophetic wisdom from the mountaintops to the peons below.
Remember, you fucking bitches!
These modern day gladiators of intellect are now crying on cue.
God damn it, Bert.
Did you hear me start crying? Did you hear me cry? I started going like this.
A deep contemplation, which was once reserved only for the poets like Homer and Hesiod, is now being gifted from mythological titans to us mere mortals to offer a new kind of introspection. These tortured souls, these composers of wit and humor who, like Sisyphus himself, incessantly pushes his boulder, would weep alone in silence while they labored over keyboards. And apparently, they don't even have to look at the keys.
For me, when I'm in front of the keyboard and I'm writing an essay on something, I can type.
Where are these essays? I'd love to read them. I want Rogan to publish his Substack. Rogan, drop the Substack, bro. Drop the Substack link. Make it subscription free, by the way. You got enough money. Knowing Rogan, though, knowing fucking Rogan, if he dropped a Substack, he definitely would have subscriptions turned on. He definitely would have paid tiered subscriptions turned on. No amount of money is too much money for this motherfucker, but I want to see. I want to read these essays. These essays on the comedy assassins. I want to read them.
So I don't have to look at the keys.
Jesus Christ, this man is a fucking ape.
I type okay.
Enough, yeah.
But now these artists weep in 4K and with sponsors.
Well, when you put it in that sense, that a kid, imagine a kid like, because what are they going to think? They don't know. They just think, man, something's so wrong with me. I deserve to be killed. Yeah. Or something. I don't know.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew.
There's people out there, right? There's content creators that, like, I've seen women and stuff on TikTok, right? Especially late night. By the way. If you're a night owl like myself and you struggle to sleep and you want to watch something to send you to sleep, but you also want to watch psychos, log on to TikTok and just click the live tab on TikTok and look at the feed. You'll see loads of essentially single mums just ranting into their phone late at night and shit, right? Not being able to sleep, and just crazy people. And there'll be people on there who have real struggles, people who are really going through some shit. Life has really dealt them a bad hand. They don't shed a single tear. They're having a laugh, they're taking a piss out of themselves, they're reading the fucking chat. These motherfuckers have, they've been blessed with a life where they earn a lot of money from doing very little work, right? Or very crappy work, let's just say that. And they still find a way to cry so often on pods. It's like, brother, unless you're crying tears of joy because you make $1 million a year yapping into a microphone, cool. But if you're just crying, I don't know, for the sake of it, it's so bizarre. And it's oddly manipulative, in my opinion. Really oddly manipulative.
Your wiener's D&O, baby, down and out.
But when tears fall onto a microphone instead of the fingerprint smudged notes app on an open micer's iPhone, what exactly are we watching? Is it healing or theatrics?
We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Wiener!
Some men cry once a decade.
Yeah, exactly. So big up Booth McGee. Exactly. I'm basically homeless if I don't bring money in. I don't want to hear anybody's sob stories. I'm the same. I have a general rule. It's a very radical rule because some people don't agree, because I think some people, like the whole sharing emotion shit. But I'm personally of the thought, when I turn on content, when I want to watch some stuff online, I don't care about your problems. I got mine. I'm watching you to distract myself from said problem. I'm watching you to distract myself from said problem, not to fucking cry over yours and then get reminded of mine and cry some more. Entertain me, distract me. I don't care what you're doing. You could be fucking building a shed, right? You could be sewing. You could be fucking reading articles on screen. Whatever you're doing, do not tell me about how fucking sad you are. I don't care. Talk to your fucking wife. You know what I mean? Talk to your wife, talk to your fucking, I don't know, but don't talk to your fucking viewers about your problems. I think it's really annoying, number one. And like I said before, there's an element of manipulation about it. There's an element of emotional manipulation, this kind of weird parasocial trigger you're turning on, hey, I've got problems, you have problems, right? Help me. It's no, fuck off. Entertain people or fuck off.
Okay, some cry at their daughter's wedding, at death of a friend, or I don't know, 9/11 or something. But Bert cried.
Could you imagine that? I don't think I'd ever get over that, by the way. I don't think I'd ever get over that. Could you imagine you're just chilling with your friends in your apartment and you happen to witness the fucking 9/11 Twin Towers attack? I don't think I'd ever get over that. I think that would scar me for life.
Friend, or I don't know, 9/11 or something.
Holy shit.
But Bert Kreischer cries on camera regularly.
You see it's happening right now. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Hawthorne, play it.
Hawthorne!
What's catharsis to some is content for others, and when Bert breaks down mid-podcast, it doesn't feel like vulnerability.
You have a
It feels
gun?
like theater. A show where
Oz, you distract me from mine, thank you. Big up.
That's what I want to hear. I've always told you from the beginning. Big up Abe Martinez, that I want to be the #1 background listening live stream / podcast in the world. I want Taz and Random Show to be 1 and 2 of the best background live stream podcast listening experience ever. I want it to be good enough where you don't have to run and change me. You know, sometimes you listen to a stream or you listen to a podcast and it's like a shitty subject, so you kind of jump out the shower and change it and shit. I just want to be good enough to just leave on in the background, because you know I'm going to yap, right? You know this is never going to be a 30-minute show. You know it's never going to be a 40-minute show. You know I'm going to yap for a couple of hours at least. So it kind of gives you some, you know, some good listening to in the background for a couple of hours while you wank, while you fucking, you know, do your grocery shopping, while you clean some dishes. That is the goal. But imagine if I sat here and started like crying to you about my bills. I started crying to you about a bailiff. I started crying to you about some family thing. It just doesn't make the listening experience good. You know, you want to get distracted from your strife and from your pain, not be reminded of it. Big up Abe Martinez. Another thing I want to mention quickly about Bert and crying. Does anybody think the crying that he does is tied to his narcissism? You know how he has this like weird fantasy, this like self-speak where he's always like kind of like thinking about how it'll be if he dies, like really being sad and that he won't be around anymore and people will forget him, and he wants people to cry at his funeral. Do you think the crying that he does is tied to the narcissism? Like every time he cries, it's him thinking about not being around. I wonder if that's a thing. Because it's an odd thing. He does like this video is doing a good job of displaying how often he cries. Like you don't really notice it because he's always wheezing, but he does shed a lot of tears. It's a bit odd. Or maybe it's tied to his booze. Maybe drinking as much as he does makes you somewhat emotional or kind of fucks up your emotions in general. I don't know.
the tears themselves are part of the act trying to deliver an Oscar-worthy performance. Because now we're living in the influencer economy, and in the influencer economy, vulnerability is currency.
True. Big up Coiler, eating, showering, having a go at the gash, always AC in the background. Love to hear it. Fuck, that's such a good point, isn't it? In the influencer economy, emotion is a strip. It's like a big currency, isn't it? That's a very good point, actually. The more emotional, like, think about, this is a good example. Think about Kreischer, right? I'd never understood the whole Kreischer hype, because Kreischer has, weirdly enough, although she's very toxic and she does a lot of things that you would imagine women wouldn't like. Number one, like, drinking and smoking while she was pregnant, that may have led to her kid having some type of disability or whatever it may be, which is awful. God bless that child. But Kreischer, I think, has all those fans partly because she's very emotional online. She's not afraid of sharing exactly how she feels in that moment, breaking down, having an outburst, going crazy. So maybe people like that because she's somewhat authentic, I guess. I don't know. Even though she's a mess, that might explain Kreischer's popularity.
It drives engagement, buys sympathy, and also sells mid-tier pube trimmers.
My dad cheated on my mom.
We got Diana in the stream chat. I'll watch you in the hills, AC, even when your sleepy forehead falls on your mic. Yeah, that was an iconic moment, man. Big up me sleeping on the mic. Big up me sleeping on the fucking mic. Iconic moment in time. And big up me being super defensive about it too. That's what makes it more iconic. Me sleeping on the mic, waking up, and then getting super defensive that I did sleep. No, I didn't.
And he told me, and the day after I cheated on my girlfriend. And I was like, why would I? Like, what the fuck?
The last wallet I had was busting at...
There's something almost...
That is amazing. That is amazing, that edit there, isn't it? Him sharing that vulnerable moment and then going straight into a Ridge wallet fucking promo. I love that.
religious about it. Narcissistic worship of the self disguised as honesty. Each breakdown becomes a sermon, and every tear his own offering to the altar of the cult of Bert.
You see? That's what he put it perfectly, by the way. Way better than I could. It is a narcissistic tendency, right, to cry. There's definitely something in there. It's definitely something. Yeah, but This is amazing. I love this video so far.
He's not bearing his soul, he's branding it. And somewhere between the sobs and the sponsorship, sincerity suffocates, and what remains is an emotion. It's ego dressed up as enlightenment. Years ago, as a guest on Bert's podcast, Chris
Bars. It's ego.
DiStefano
It's ego dressed up as enlightenment. Bars.
had what appered to be a genuine moment.
Fuck. You know, like, yeah, I just made Sick a lot of money. And I'm like, but I've been watching my daughter's life on like a phone. And it's a little like, wow, this is crazy. This happened.
He started to cry talking about the success of his career at the expense of experiencing his kid's childhood. And like clockwork, Bert begins to cry. And of course, he didn't just cry, he had to have an over-the-top, exaggerated breakdown.
And he made it all about himself too, by the way. I hope he points that out. Chris and Stefano has a very real moment that happens organically as they're discussing their careers and the struggles and the challenges. And then Bert not only starts crying, but also immediately makes it about himself.
So I just want, like, how do you do it? Because, you know, like, because
What are you talking about? How do I fucking do it? Are you fucking serious? I'm drinking at 10 in the morning.
He was crying harder than Chris, who of course realized this would be the clip of the episode. Promo. And sure enough, it was.
is this the clip?
At this point,
Jesus Christ. How many views did that clip got? 486,000 clips. 486,000 clips. And you know what's funny about this clip, by the way? You know what's funny about this clip? Although this was a real moment that happened with both of them where they're kind of reminiscing on, you know, their past and their failings as a father, but their ability to provide and the struggles of trying to balance your father, you know, being all right, whatever, right? I bet you they haven't changed a single thing about how they conduct their business and do stand-up. Bert tours more than ever. Chris Stefano seems like he tours more than ever too. So even though they had this really emotional moment that you would have thought would have led to some changes in their lifestyle, in the way they approached work, so they could have a better work-life balance, it probably hasn't changed anything. So they literally cried for the views. Nothing of worth, nothing of note came from this. You know, their kids still don't see them, especially Bert's kids now they're in college, but Chris Stefano's kids probably still don't see him.
at this point, I've seen Bert Kreischer cry more than I've seen my own father cry, which is only about 3 times. And sure, it's probably not a glowing sign of his emotional health, but at least when he did it, it was real. With Bert, the tears are always self-serving. There's a lot of talk that something's wrong with him emotionally, that he's fragile, unraveling, silently breaking down, or maybe even his health is failing.
I think he's just one of the rare cases of a proper attention seeker. That's what I think Bert is. I think at the very core, Bert is a
Powerful bunch.
Big up.
Must be hard choosing to get drunk and touring to become filthy rich in exchange for missing your kid's B-day. Now imagine all that, but you're not rich. Can't imagine anyways. Better help.
Use my code RS for 10% off. Yeah, exactly. Big up Asad Aziz. Yeah, I don't know. I get the feeling Bert is just a consummate attention seeker, like the dictionary definition of an attention seeker. So however he can get it, from taking his top off to crying to recording videos of himself in public, like he just loves attention. Like that's his life force, you know. He just loves attention. He probably loves attention more than he likes money, you know. So I think that's where the crying comes from. I think the crying is just another way to get attention, essentially. But
I don't buy it. Bert's performative vulnerability feels more like strategy, emotion deployed with the precision of a marketing team. It is
big up Big Boop in the stream chat. It's the alcohol. I don't drink anymore because after my dad passing, it just makes me emotional. Okay, cool. So that does obviously add to it. Yeah, you're right. But I think at his core, even if he was sober, I still think he would be fucking, you know, attention seeker.
It isn't just the fact that he's crying that seems off. It's the way his tears always seem perfectly timed, framed, and monetizable. Like he's crying for the audience instead of to them. It's a calculated emotional equivalent of clickbait, and when someone can turn their own breakdowns into recurring content, you stop wondering if they're hurting and start wondering what they're selling.
Yep, people should. I'm gonna get emotional saying this.
Guys, some interesting shows coming up. I'm gonna.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Another expertly placed ad. Oh my god, big up Tromea. Big up. This is amazing. I never observed this. I never noticed this. Another expertly placed ad. I'm gonna get really emotional. Guys, my tour starts. This is so shameless.
Be performing at my boy Gary V's conference, VCon.
Oh, it looks like it was just tickets to an NFT scam conference, which could actually be the subject of a video all on its own.
Jesus Christ.
You may be thinking this is a harsh judgment, like I'm some sort of heartless asshole who refuses to believe that this man is suffering, as if he's lived a life of trauma and quiet desperation as a once healthy young man metamorphosed into a disgusting middle-aged man baby who lacks any and all ability to regulate his emotions. I mean, it's not like he's ever admitted to it being a self-serving performance.
That video in slow-mo looks disgusting, isn't it, no? That video in slow-mo of him walking across the stage and taking off his t-shirt is disgusting, no? Eesh.
Except when he did exactly that.
I cheated on everyone I ever dated, and except for my
Now,
wife.
is that how you got
That's how I got
out?
out of it. That's how I got out of it.
Yes.
I just was like, I'll just make them not like me.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
because
the easiest way.
Yes.
It's so much easier for you to just hate me than me to tell you I don't like you. Every now and then it haunts me.
Why is he acting like that's unique? Every guy's done that. Why is he acting like he's the only one that's done that? Like, every guy's done that. That's like a standard thing that guys do, you know, especially if you're emotionally avoidant and shit. Like, why do you act like he just discovered something?
Where I go, that's the real Bert, where cheated, caught, wanted her back in a bathroom, and I'm crying so that she hears it. And in the middle of crying, I stop crying entirely, and I look in the mirror and I go, I wonder if anyone hears this. And I went, what the fuck's happening? I was like, wait, are you sad? I was like, I don't think I am. I was like, just cry louder.
And there it is. Not speculation.
Classic. There, exactly. We've got an exact example of the origin of him crying. Again, for the attention. He's always been an attention seeker. He's always been a fucking attention seeker. That's why in a way, bear with me while I say this. That's why in a way, when I first discovered Bert, I kind of didn't mind him. Because of how unapologetically fame hungry he was when I first kind of stumbled across his stuff. Like, shit. Like, he didn't try and like act humble, you know, or pretend like he was just in it for the love of stand up. Like, no, I want to be the biggest stand up. I want to sell the most tickets. I want the biggest tour. I want to have the biggest tour bus. I want to put my face all over the tour bus. You know, I want to make really big, extravagant, outlandish promo reels and marketing clips and stuff for my tours. I want to have all my shit on Netflix. Like, he's always been very adamant, very upfront about how much he loves fame. You know, he loves fucking fame. So you can kind of appreciate that honesty. But over the years, he's just too exhausting. Like, he's not slowing down. Like, he legitimately seems to enjoy, like, for me, the thing that bugs me out, and I think that's just being an alcoholic, the thing that bugs me out about Bert is how much he genuinely enjoys drinking beer. That's the thing that bugs me out. He's been drinking beer since he was like a child, probably. And he still gets a buzz from like cracking open a can, having a pint. Like, he doesn't seem to ever get tired, or he never complains about hangovers and shit like regular people, right? Like, we've all have moments where we're like, you know what, I'm not really on the booze now. I'm getting fed up of hangovers. I'm getting fed up of whatever. If you do drugs, you get fed up of the headaches and the blocked nose and the sinuses and whatever. You get tired of it and you have little breaks. He never seems to get tired of it. He's still going. Like, that to me just makes me a little bit nauseous, a bit like are you human? Like, what is wrong with you? How are you still enamored with like drinking and plus it doesn't seem like he does drugs. I don't know about you, maybe not counting the mushrooms and the weed and stuff, but he doesn't do any party drugs, I don't think so. Which makes it even more weird. Like, he's just going out to bars every night, just drinking alcohol. Like, is that it? You know, like, he doesn't seem like somebody that, you know, that sleeps around with like random women either. He seems quite loyal to Leanne. So he's not going out to go and fuck random girls. He's not going out to get fucked on drugs. He's just going out to just drink beer with his fans and stuff and do shots. At 50, he's been doing this for like, what, 40 years, maybe? Like, come on, man. Give it a break.
It's not gossip or baseless accusation. It's Bert's own story and his own arguably sociopathic actions. He describes cheating on a girlfriend and then going to the bathroom to stage a crying performance loud enough.
Yeah, big up Solidity, exactly. That's commendable trait for Bert. He's honest about how much he loves being rich and famous. No fake, humble or grounded person. Exactly. Again, it's a weird thing to say, like it's a good thing, but it's like, come on, like he doesn't pretend. He's, hey, I want to be famous at all costs, you know? Big up Solidity. Nah, he definitely got to play in the snow occasionally. I've heard people say that. But he doesn't give me cokehead vibes. I'm not gonna lie. He doesn't give me cokehead vibes. I don't get like MDMA, Molly vibes from him either, because you'd see it. You see his jaw swinging. He's got too much of an expressive face. I think if he was on coke, if he was on MDMA, if he was on meth, you'd see it in his face. I just think he just drinks alcohol. He might be one of those weirdos that just drinks alcohol. You know, like all he does is that. I just can't imagine. It just seems boring. Like that's all you do every day. Don't you get tired of it? Even with drugs, it's tiring, right? Even with drugs as a stimulant, as a little top up, it still gets tiring. He somehow never gets tired of like doing like beer, what do you call it? Playing beer pong or crushing beers on his face. Like,
for her to hear, not because he was genuinely remorseful, but because he wanted to guilt her into staying. You don't really have to stretch it to see what that is. It's abusive behavior. Not vulnerability, not emotional honesty, not a man in touch with his feelings. It's using manufactured distress as leverage to manipulate someone's emotions to avoid responsibility.
Agreed.
And when someone admits to using their emotions as a tool to control the people around them, the pattern starts to become a lot easier to recognize. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying Bert is an abuser per se. My lawyers tell me that would be treading in legal defamation territory and possibly even violating YouTube's terms of service. But the behavior he describes definitely falls into the definition of emotional abuse.
I'm sure if you ask these daughters, they would agree. I'm definitely sure if you was to pull up Bert Kreischer's daughters and ask them, do you think your father is sometimes, you know, can use his emotions to his benefit? I think they definitely agree. 100% you just at the type.
And once you understand the emotional manipulation, Bert's behavior stops looking fragile and starts looking theatrical.
The movie starts and I start bawling, crying. And I start mouthing my lines. I'm laughing hysterically. I'm like, I loved watching me more than a narcissist would ever. Like, it was like the craziest thing.
What we once called narcissism is shrugged off.
Yo, big up Big Booth. Shrooms make you emotional, but a little more productive than drinking. Yeah, maybe he's microdosing on that. Big up Asad Aziz. I don't think he's a cokehead, but how to spend 3 decades in dive bars and not go skiing. No, that's what I'm saying though. I don't even think he goes skiing, brother. I've seen too much of his content. I'm sure you have as well. He doesn't give me the vibe of somebody he records too often not to notice those type of things, you know? I don't even think he does it. He might have done it once or twice, but I don't think it's a thing he does regularly. He's just one of those weirdos that goes to bars and just drinks alcohol. Like, not even weirdos. He's been doing it for so long. That's what freaks me out about it. Like, how are you like 3 decades in plus into drinking, and all you do is drink, and you're not bored of it? Like, I'm like, how are you not bored of it? Like, even a little bit. It's kind of wild.
His main character syndrome now, an exhibition of self and obsession with perception. A belief that every moment a person experiences is significant simply because they're the one experiencing it. And that narcissism doesn't just show up in Bert's crying, it shows up in the things he thinks are funny. Recently, Bert floated an idea on a podcast that, well, there's not exactly a polite way to say it. He suggested that he and co-host Tom should find a young woman, a fan with no online presence, and, quote, manage her OnlyFans career.
By the way, I think this was rage bait. I don't think they meant this. I think this was rage bait. They went through a period where when their show was getting low views and it was getting a lot of like dislikes and stuff, they started listening to the fans, and whatever the stuff that they didn't like about the show, they changed. So a lot of the 2Base1K fans hated that Bert would always interrupt and would always fucking go on tangents. So he started doing that less. But then I think they noticed the views didn't really increase because obviously people abandoned the show anyway. So then they tried another technique where they started doing the opposite of what fans didn't want them to do. So if fans told them not to interrupt, they interrupted more. If fans were criticizing Tom for the extravagant purchases and talking about all the cars and watches he's had, he did it more. So I think this was around the same time where they were trying to like rage bait their fans or the internet to try and get a reaction. So I don't even think they meant this. I think they clearly meant this to try and go viral, personally.
Which is to say, pimp her out.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now can I pitch you our $1 million idea?
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Me and you are gonna pimp an OnlyFans page.
We're gonna pimp. So we're gonna be an OnlyFans content creators pimps.
Or
don't get me wrong, I'm no Puritan and I have no issue with sex work. But even Tom, a man who laughs at disabled and mentally ill people on TikTok with his wife for entertainment, looked uncomfortable.
OnlyFans presence at all.
So weird.
Like very little.
I'd say none.
Well, none. Well, that means like, do they have a channel? You got to have someone that's.
I think it's better if we take a virgin flower.
Jesus Christ.
Someone who's like, I've not even thought of doing this, and we're like, you should be a whore.
Doing this and go
okay.
and go. Let's, because I mean, okay.
Yeah, just look at that face. We've all been there, talking to a friend, carrying on, and suddenly you hit that moment. That quiet internal alarm goes off where you realize, oh, this person might not be someone I want in my life anymore. That's the look we all had on our face. But civilians like us aren't monetarily tied to our friendships. We're not stuck day after day having to pretend every string of words vomited out by our alcoholic co-hosts, at the very least, have potential to be good ideas.
That must be the weirdest part about their friendship, right? Because if Bert was like a regular guy, right? If Bert was a regular guy in Tom's life, he would have cut him off by now. But because Bert is a fellow comedian who makes a lot of money and they've got a show together that makes them a lot of money, he kind of still has to be there with him, you know? Like because you could imagine someone like Tom who's gone through his transformation, he's lost weight, he's kind of, you know, got his career on the up and up, he's directing movies, he's doing stuff on Netflix, It could be understandable where he'd wake up one day and be like, you know what, I've kind of outgrown Bert. I need to move on from that guy, but he can't. You know, got them golden handcuffs on. He really can't because they make a lot of money together, so he kind of has to sit there and grin and bear it. But it must be a strange relationship. You must look at him all the time and think, "Fuck you know, look at how fat you are." You know, a constant reminder of where he's come from. Like Jesus Christ, you're a mess.
Yes.
Yep. Welcome to another episode of Two Bears, One Cave.
Oh shit! I hit pause. Fuck. God, Tom, this is insane. This is the greatest thing I've ever.
Yeah, big up, Mr. Roger. Agreed, AZ. I really like the vitamins, but I feel like the day I go cold turkey because I'm bored of it. And that's the thing. Think about with us. Like, I have more sympathy, and I've said it before. I have more sympathy for regular people like you and I, who work a regular job and, you know, may want to on the weekends at the end of the month when you get paid to kind of let loose and, you know, get on it, for lack of a better term. But I feel like when you're a person that's kind of been, you know, writing your own ticket, you've been steering your own ship, you've been a comedian, you basically, I don't think Bert's ever had a job, to be fair. I think Tom Segura had a job. Remember he said it in Your Mum's House. I think he used to be a producer or something like that, or something, if I remember correctly. Coyle would know, he's a Your Mum's House expert and stuff. I think Tom used to have like a job working in a TV company or something. I forgot what it was. But I don't think Bert's ever had a real job ever in his life. I think it's way weirder when you're still on the booze, you're still on the fucking drug ass, when you've been a person who's been able to like enjoy that. Like Bert's never had to wake up at a certain time, you know? He's a comedian. He can just miss a gig if he wants to. He's never had the pressure of having to work a job to pay rent. His dad could support him and he's always been kind of, you know, well off. So I find it odd how he's still so enamored with drinking when he's been drinking freely for most of his adult life, if not all of his adult life. Like, for me, I get tired and I've been trying to balance it with just going out, DJing, all that stuff, and I get bored of it. How can you not get bored of it when you have no restrictions? That's what bugs me out, is how you've had no restrictions on your life. But then again, somebody mentions in the stream chat, he's maybe the truest definition of an alcoholic. Not even an alcoholic in terms of the ones where they depend on the alcohol for their mood, or they just got an addiction to the whatever. he actually enjoys booze. Like he legitimately enjoys drinking alcohol. Like legitimately, you know. And he's been doing it for 3 decades plus. It's really scary. Big up Coiler. Yeah, he had an internship in DC working for an American Most Wanted, and that year, yeah, that's the one. Big up, yeah. That's when he was super fat. Yeah, back in the day, with the best era of fucking your mom's house. Yeah, I knew Coiler would know. Thank you for that, brother.
Just watching adult footage.
Yeah, and maybe we don't have to cut people out of our lives because they suggested pimping out a virgin flower. Bert's words, not mine. But the vibe is the same. That expression Tom makes...
I just heard something. Yeah.
That's the universal face of, my God, how has every decision I've made in my life led me to this moment? Get me the fuck out of here. And of course you want to be generous and assume it's a bit, right? It's just a joke, something they'll laugh off and never bring up again.
Hey, do we have an OnlyFans star yet?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know that we had submissions. Where are we with that? Holy shit.
Yeah, baby. Fuck yeah. Wow, way to bring it. Way to fucking bring it. Yes.
So if you're listening right now or watching, because we're probably not showing you this,
too excited,
this is a woman who is posing. You're seeing her from behind. One leg is up, and then she has a full bottle of Porosos in her no-no hole.
Jesus Christ.
No, it wasn't a joke. This is the kind of thing that used to make you a social pariah.
Married men, by the way. Married men with children. Again, like, if Jesseline is embarrassing, right? That's what I think. We need to, even as men, we need to call this stuff out. Because if we're all quick to call out people like Jesseline or women like Jesseline, we have to be quick to call out each other. If you have a wife and kids at home, you can't be doing shit like that. You're embarrassing yourself and your family doing shit like that. Like, for real. That's a real piss take. Like, you're trying to run a fucking de facto OF agency, and you're, oogling, submissions as you're recording a podcast, getting yourself off on it as well. Very, very bizarre. Very, 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 very bizarre. But again, comedian relationships are not like regular people relationships. Because they make money, I think the women just turn a blind eye to a lot of stuff they do. Like, it seems like Leanne doesn't really mind that Bert is always drunk because it means he kind of leaves her alone. That's the vibe that I get, right? So maybe she doesn't give a fuck. Whatever keeps him away from the house, whatever keeps him from pissing on the bed, staining the walls and just being a general fucking, alky, she's happy with it probably.
The kind of behavior that instantly disqualified you from group chats and weekend barbecues and being within 1,000 feet of a public school.
Tommy and I are adopting a OnlyFans girl for Two Bears. We're gonna have a Two Bears OnlyFans girl.
Even Bobby Lee, a man whose life choices exist in a moral gray zone the size of a globe.
Also, it's called Two Bears, One Cave, right? It's almost like it should be really and truly a show about like manhood, fatherhood, career. It should just, for me, when I hear Two Bears, One Cave, I think of two guys sitting in a fucking shed, sitting in a man cave, essentially, right? Sitting in a man cave talking about man shit. There should be nothing involving women in that, really. If you look at the name of the show, the theme of the show, there should be no involvement of women. It should be you talking as guys, unfiltered, kind of laying it bare, being funny, sharing some vulnerable stories. But it shouldn't be here's us sitting here jacking off of OnlyFans content. It's like, what? Go start fresh and fit.
Hemisphere looked disturbed.
And you at Bad Friends should do the same thing.
Kind of like you're fostering. Yeah.
Is it a boy or a girl?
We haven't made a decision yet.
It's got to be a guy.
It's got to be a guy.
It could be both.
Well, we could.
It's got to be a guy.
We could get why?
Because it's a little creepy, no?
And when Bobby Lee is the one in the room taking the moral high road when talking
exactly the guy that allegedly maybe had
about sexual
exactly the guy that maybe allegedly had some not so kosher, not so above board experiences in the southern part or the eastern part of Asia. If he's saying that, then well, go on.
Exploitation. It's time for some self-reflection.
She's looking like she's like 15.
I don't know how.
Let's not put a number on it.
Whoa, look at the headline. Comedian Bobby Lee, Tijuana prostitute story, made up dark joke. I didn't have sex with minor. Yeah, to be fair, he got away with it, All he said was this. It was a joke, it was a joke, it was a joke, it's a prank, it's a prank. And he basically got away with it. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of shows you how beloved he is. That's what happens when you're not hated, people give you the benefit of the doubt. Because people love Bobby Lee. So they were willing to turn a blind eye to this and kind of believe his reason, his rationale, his narrative, right? But it kind of came and went away quickly. Lucky him.
Let's not put a number.
I don't know the number, and you know what, God? I didn't know the number, and you know that for a fact, God.
This isn't just cringe or a poorly executed joke. It's gross, exploitative, and predatory behavior that fits disturbingly well with the pattern we've already seen, using vulnerable people as props in the ongoing cinematic universe of Bert's self-importance. Which brings us back to the beginning of Bert's career, the machine.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So listen, man, last time you were here, there's a fucking story about the Russian mob. We tease these bitches. we let these people right now on Twitter, they have been going crazy all day. Do not let Bert Kreischer get out of there without the Russian mob story, man.
It's a story that defined him and one that he's clung to like a life raft ever since. Because without it, he's just another loud, sweaty, talentless blob of entitlement. He built his entire booze-soaked, belly-slapping persona around it. I'm not going to question the credibility of Bert's machine bit. I'm sure at some point he went to Russia and got drunk with the locals. That's just the kind of thing you do in Russia.
That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. That's what I said. I think the genesis of the story is true because I remember when he first shared the machine story, there was some people that he went on that tour with or whatever, I think it was with his college. They confirmed the story. They confirmed that he was in Russia. I forgot who it was. It was some woman on Facebook, somebody. So I'm sure the genesis of the story is true. I went to Russia. I was on a train. We drank. But the whole the whole fucking Hollywood narrative about it is completely false. But did he go to Russia and drink with locals? Yes. Did all that other shit happen? No, definitely not.
Russia. It's like going to Germany and attending a sex party.
Are these the Nazis, Walter?
No, Johnny, these men are nihilists. There's nothing to be afraid of.
We still want the money, Lebowski. We fuck you up.
Fuck you.
But what is worth questioning...
What's that movie, by the way? I've never watched it. I should watch this. Watch this movie. I always see it getting referenced. Is it really good? What's this movie? People tell me in the stream chat. Apologies, I know it sounds like I'm an idiot, but what is this movie? I want to watch this. What the fuck is this movie? Let me know what the title is. I want to finally watch it. I keep saying it always gets referenced by comedians and shit. What the fuck is the name of this movie? What's that? The Big Lebowski. Okay, cool. The Big Lebowski. I need to check this out. Everyone always says it's really good. It's always referenced, so I need to watch this. Big Lebowski. Okay, cool. Thank you.
We still want the money, Lebowski. We fuck you up.
Fuck you.
But what is worth questioning is the story itself. It's what Bert did with it. Because the machine wasn't just a funny anecdote he once told, it became a myth, Bert's foundational gospel. The narcissism baked into the machine is obvious when you think about it. It's a story where Bert is always the center of gravity as a hero, a legend, the American chosen one who strolls into Russia, befriends the mob, commits crimes, and everyone loves him for it.
So we paid off the mob, and they gave us in return two banditos, two young mobsters who would go everywhere with us. And all I say to Igor in Russian is, I am the machine. Grab all the money, grab all the rubles. And I go, what? I look around and we're robbing the bar cart.
What? The machine isn't just a tale told by a comedian, it's an idealistic self-portrait. It's a myth he crafted to justify everything that came after. The chaos, selfishness, the emotional manipulation, the total lack of accountability.
I never thought about it that way. It was a precursor. It was a primer to excuse all the future behavior. I wonder, maybe he kind of used it the same way he used that fucking Rolling Stones article, innit? I read about I was the biggest party monster in the US. It was written about me in the Rolling Stones. Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
Machine was the prototype for Bert's entire worldview. I can do anything, and the universe will bend around me. And when you look at it through that lens, it stops being a funny bit. Arguably, if it ever was. The machine isn't folklore, and it's not just...
But can you blame him, though, for having that point of view? That the world will blend around him? Because I think of Dark Side Phil with these sort of things. Sometimes in life, or in general anyway, bad behavior shouldn't be rewarded, because I think we only learn through pain, right? I think most of us only learn through pain and suffering. We don't really learn, we don't learn any other way, really, for the most part. But I think there are some people in the world who get away with it, and they never learn because they get away with it. Similar to Bert. Bert in any other walk of life would be a guy struggling to hold on to like a very low paying job somewhere. But in this lifetime, in this timeline, he's managed to like become a multimillionaire. But in any other timeline, he isn't. So can you blame him for being the way he is? Because life has rewarded him in spite of his shortcomings. You know, life has really rewarded him in spite of his little from his parents, from how from who his parents are. You know, they're well off, to growing up at the time that he grew up, to kind of befriending Rogan, to becoming a comedian. Life has kind of worked out for him along the way in a big way, despite all of his things that he does, that people think is wrong. So I kind of don't blame him for having that real toxic, weird way of looking at the world, where he thinks the world bends to his will, because it kind of does. It kind of has bent favorably to his will so far.
A story. It's the only story Bert has, and he's been milking it for a decade because God forbid anyone notice there's nothing else behind the bloated, red-faced curtain except a narcissistic void begging for applause. Bert Kreischer isn't just a comedian, a podcaster, or an entertainer. He's a sentient black hole of need, a sweaty, shirtless vortex that devours attention and shits out weaponized self-pity for views.
Every time I hear stuff like that, which is true, he is very exhausting in terms of like his need for attention. I just think of his daughters. Especially young girls, they already need attention, right? I'm assuming if you have daughters, they're probably very needy anyway. They probably go through all types of emotions, especially when, their bodies are changing, whatever else it may be, puberty and stuff. Imagine having a father that is worse than that. That's like 10 times worse than that, Like you're going through what you're going through as a young woman, and you've got a father that just demands all the attention from your mom to your relatives, like all the attention's on him when he's on stage, when he's at home, like because I think there are some people, right? There's some actors or some media people, some entertainment figures who, if they have a big personality on stage, when they go home, they play the role of like the mum, they play the role of like the father. They kind of like take a step back. Bert's not that person. Bert in his house is probably the main star, He doesn't step back and let his daughters have the space to kind of be themselves. He doesn't step back and probably let his wife have more attention. He's still the main character, even at home. So could you imagine how exhausting it must be to have this guy as your dad? Yes, you get all the money in the world. You get to go to fancy schools and shit, but it must be exhausting.
Everything about him is a calculated emotional extortion racket dressed up as authenticity. He doesn't tell stories, he launders his gaping personality defects through endless, exaggerated anecdotes, where he's always the lovable oaf who somehow stumbles into being the center of the universe. A spoiled, overfed man-baby who never grew past frat house arrested development and figured out the world will keep wiping his ass if he cries hard enough. Watch him closely and the mask slips. Those podcast tears, those trembling, I'm so broken, what even is life monologues.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Fuck, you just fucked me up. Am I even really me?
Yes.
Or am I just a response to a ton of traumas that I...
That's not vulnerability. That's emotional pornography for the terminally gullible. He's jerking off your empathy live on camera, moaning about his struggles while his bank account swells from the same people too stupid to see the con. Every sob is a paywall, and every crack in his voice is a merch drop.
Every sob is a paywall. Every crack in his voice is a merch drop. Yo, Trill Mayer. Clap, salute. Fucking bars. Pick up Josie. Look at the huge fucking belly. Exactly. My dad would make me go buy my own products, and that was embarrassing. Exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Big up dude loves to do the dumb likable guy, but it's rare likable cable guy for sure. Look at that fucking hair. All I know is shackles and pain. Fuck. By the way, like the stream.
He farms pity the way factory farms squeeze pus out of infected udders, mechanically, relentlessly, and with zero regard for how rancid the product actually is. Bert's feelings aren't real. They're a performance with one eye on your wallet, like a desperate stripper giving a $10 lap dance. Vulnerability for him isn't human, it's a special effect. A cheap act to deploy so the rubes never start noticing there's no talent behind the noise. He cries on cue because actual introspection would force him to confront the abyss staring back. a talentless alcoholic narcissist who lucked into fame by being loud, fat, and willing to degrade himself for laughs he doesn't deserve. And that's the final pathetic form of the machine. A grown man so hollow he has to fake breakdowns to remind himself he still exists. He balls for the camera not because he's hurting, but because the grift collapses the second people realize there's no tragic hero. Just a swollen, manipulative toddler in a man's body who discovered that millions of idiots will pay top dollar to watch a grown man pretend to have a soul. Bert Kreischer isn't the machine. He's an oozing, inoperable tumor on comedy who's convinced his own pus is holy water. And the worst part? He'll keep crying and he'll keep winning, because there's always fans out there still dumb enough to say it's real.
It's the person that's not aware of it that I'm skeptical of. The person where this is where I think I
eviscerated.
When I see someone being performative, but they're not acknowledging it, and they're like, yeah, this is just who I am. And you're like,
See, I think that's a very
amazing
If
video.
you're still watching, I appreciate it. As this channel grows, I'd like input from viewers to help decide what direction to take things. So there's a link in the description.
Yeah, big up Trill Mayhem, man. Brilliant video. Brilliant fucking video. Wow. Absolutely eviscerated, but very good analysis. Put a lot of things into words that I could never really articulate correctly or properly. Big up Trill Mayo. That was fucking brilliant, man. That was fucking brilliant. 10 out of 10. 10 out of fucking 10. Alright, cool. Oh, look at that. Look at that little animation. Look at that little animation there. That's pretty cool. Wow. So I guess comedy videos have that little crying, laughing emoji. That's pretty cool. I quite like that.